This is my talk about my animation videos, a kind of cartoon, listen and watch algorithms at work. First of all, perhaps a few words about my aesthetics. I love combining genres that don't really fit together. If I understand myself correctly, my videos are somewhere between philosophical reflection of a layman, art, comics, rebus, and entertainment. I'm going to talk a lot about visual aspects. But it's always about rhythm, and my techniques for shaping time are closely related to my purely musical work. So let us start with an excerpt from my video Kluge Tiere, in English Clever Animals.
These objects all around me. These objects all around me.
Flimmernd ausgegossenen Weltalls.
Millionen Jahre.
To erase mistakes and start anew. On pages of a notebook grand.
About 5 years ago, I started experimenting with animated audio-video works. I have a typical German new music socialization, studying composition, work for traditional instruments, performances by relevant musicians and ensembles. However, during my studies and alongside my official work, I repeatedly experimented with algorithmically generated models. Finally, I started with serious electroacoustic compositions, first pure music, but later I began integrating visual elements. Kluge Tiere, in English Clever Animals, was created at the end of 2022. As with almost all of my videos, the idea of open form plays an important role here. As it is well known, the concept of open form appeared in music at the end of the 1950s. Stockhausen's Piano Piece 11 or Boulet's Second Piano Sonata. Umberto Eco's book The Open Work from 1973 was later important for the theoretical basis. I implement the approach of providing a repertoire of elements that manifest themselves in ever-new constellations with each performance in my videos using algorithms. The actual composition is a code that produces a different version of a video for each evaluation. So when I show a work on Monday, it will differ from the version on Tuesday. There are two types of my videos: dramatic forms, there is a beginning and an end, and installations, potentially infinite. Both types use random operations for a set of items within framework conditions. A presentation is always only one realization of the code. This is a bit like the relationship between score and performance. Back to Clever Animals. Clever Animals is an installation. The title, Clever Animals, ist taken from Nietzsches Text über Wahrheit und Lüge im außermoralischen Sinne, English, on truth and lies in the extra-moral sense. The text begins as follows. In some remote corner of the universe, shimmering in countless solar systems, there once existed a star on which clever animals invented cognition. Around this quote, I have collected various items that all have to do with the cleverness of these animals, with spirit, mind, the German word Geist, on the acoustic and visual level. The items appear one after the other, but the fact that they are constantly kept present results in a moving static, a fluid image, or a fluid sound. On a very abstract level, one could think of the mobiles by Alexander Calder. There, too, you have an object which stays the same despite its movement. Here Calder's mobile Three Gongs from 1948. The connection with the form of my videos will become even clearer as my talk progresses. Clever Animals is structured in the form of a triptych, and let's now take a closer look at the three parts of it. The right side reflects my own work practice as a more or less clever animal. There are the most important objects that are usually on my desk. Pencil, rubber, notebook, my cell phone, the cup of coffee, and the bulb can also be read as inspiration. By the way, the cell phone always shows the current date and time, which is logically different for each presentation. For practical reasons, I use a recording here and not a real-time evaluation. The constellation and size of the objects change at irregular intervals. Synchronously with this, there is a sound that consists of different components that are always put together differently, analogous to the visual rearrangement. The sounds are several layered pizzicato samples combined with several downwardly transposed samples of struck glasses. These variants are controlled by algorithms that select random values with certain framework conditions, size and position of the objects, transposition of the samples, rhythm of the changes. Here are 4 constellations. Of course, these random generation lead to different versions of the video every time it is shown. In the original, the rhythm fluctuates randomly between 10 and 60 seconds. On the left, there is a poem that ChatGPT generated for me. My keywords were the objects on the right: rubber, pencil, notebook, cup of coffee, phone, light bulb. The page is visually static, but on the audio level, randomly selected lines of the poem are spoken at different rates and with different reverb by a Siri voice. Here is the whole poem.
A light bulb illuminates my mind, a pencil in my hand. I scribble down my deepest thoughts on pages of a notebook grand. A rubber stands at the ready to erase mistakes and start anew. A cup of coffee steams and waits to keep my energy and focus true. My phone lies by my side, a constant connection to the world. These simple things that fill my life unfold in stories yet to be unfurled. The light bulb guides my way, the pencil captures all I think and say. The rubber helps me start again. The notebook holds it all within. The cup of coffee keeps me going. The phone connects me to all. These objects all around me are my companions through it all.
And here are 4 lines with different rates, here every 4 seconds, in the original version with durations between 20 and 55 seconds.
To erase mistakes and start anew.
To keep my energy and focus true.
The phone connects me to all.
The notebook holds it all within.
In the middle, there is a constantly changing pattern. One can interpret it as a neural network. The algorithm chooses a variable number n of randomly positioned points and draws lines from each to each point. The synchronous sound then consists of n samples of a high piano tone, each transposed on a random basis. Here are 6 constellations. In the original, the network changes every 15 to 50 seconds. In addition to these 3 parts of the triptych, there is another item in the upper edge. Here, excerpts from the German Wikipedia article about Geist, mind, are spelled out every now and then synchronously with various samples that are manipulated in different ways. The texts appear every 30 seconds. The following samples occur more quickly. Another visual item is a skull, which appears from time to time in different places on the screen. And finally, last visual component, a ghost that appears and disappears at different points on the screen, synchronized with a synthetic sound and repeated between 40 and 80 seconds. Apart from spirit and mind, the German word Geist can also mean ghost. So there are the following overlapping visual acoustic parts. First, the triptych. Right, desk objects. Left, the ChatGPT poem. Middle, the neural network. Above, Wikipedia article fragments. Variable position, the ghost. Variable position, skull. Audio items. Excerpts from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Excerpts from a motet by Josquin des Prez. Excerpts from a song by Billie Holiday. Excerpts from a discussion about human evolution. The Nietzsche quote. Whistle. Excerpts from a report about Last Generation. And different samples. Here is an overview of all items with a possible sequence of appearance. I'm now showing another longer excerpt from a generation of clever animals.
dazwischen. Ja.
The phone connects me to a wall. A light bulb illuminates my mind.
Nur dran.
Das ist
The phone connects me to a wall. On pages of a notebook grand.